Hello everyone and welcome to Connect with Evie. My name is Evelyn and I am your source for tips and tricks about every secret nook and cranny in Objectiflune's flagship product. So first, before we actually start this video, I want to apologize for the last few weeks of not having any Connect with Evie videos. I know you guys are waiting for them and you like them, but I was busy with other internal tasks like training and stuff that wasn't expected. So mea culpa, I will try to do better. Now that this is said, let's move on to today's subject. We are going to take a look at optimizing basic print processes inside of workflow and try to make them a bit faster, especially by using the all-in-one plugin. So your basic print process, if we look at the examples that we have online and the videos that I've done in the past, are essentially execute data mapping, which takes a data mapper, and then create the print content, which merges the document with the data, and then we have the create job, which executes a job preset, and create output, which generates an output defined on the print presets. So when I run this, what I get in the end is my PDF. Now, I didn't actually show you the time it took to run this process because I'm in debug and I don't have a big computer, but essentially this is the basic process. Now, here's why this process is somewhat inefficient. When I do this, execute data mapping will run first, and this will execute all of the records before it moves on to the next task. So let's say you have 5,000 records. It does the 5,000 records, generates them, and then moves on to the next, which is create print content, which then will generate your 500 documents of X number of pages, which will then go to create job and then go to create output as a single batch. This doesn't matter for very small jobs, especially if you're executing one at a time, doesn't really make a difference. But if you're executing big jobs, it means it's doing these tasks sequentially, and it may affect performance because we can do better. So here's what we can do instead. I'm going to create a new process, and I'm going to add the all-in-one as an action task. So the all-in-one looks like just a simplified version of the other tasks. I just select the data mapping, I select the content creation, and I select the output creation. Wait, where's the jobs? You cannot use job presets inside of the all-in-one. And this is not really a limitation insofar as it's a limitation caused by the fact that the all-in-one is more efficient. So here's the thing. All-in-one, instead of running all of the records in the execute data mapping, all-in-one will take one record, execute it, send it to the print content, do the second record, send it to the print content, do the third record, send it to the print content. And while it's doing this, while the data mapping is doing one at a time, it goes into print content, which does one at a time, and then sends that to output, and then outputs that. The reason that this is efficient is because it's doing multitasking. It's doing as many as it can, as defined in your server settings for small print jobs, and it actually runs those all in parallel and then merges all the output. Depending on your output presets, it can merge or individually split them and then send it to the output folder or back to workflow. Now, the reason we cannot have job presets is because the job presets can change the order and filter and, do different levels and all of that. And that is not supported in the whole multi-processing, multi-threading environment. You can't order jobs that are being executed one at a time. So the actual performance improvement is significant. I can't tell you numbers because it depends on so many different variables that it would be bad for me to attempt to even give you a number. I can only say significant output enhancement. So that's for the all-in-one. Now, let's explore the options a little bit and see how we can kind of sort of use it in different situations. So the all-in-one actually has a couple of other options that are not available in the regular plugins. So here we have the data mapper source. Data mapping configuration means it's the same as the normal execute data mapping. Filter means we can actually filter an existing data mapping record set, so execute data mapping and then do this, and it'll actually use those and filter them. So it's kind of a second filtering pass before we get into the actual content creation. Metadata means just pass through existing and use that. And PDF-VT means that it'll just take the PDF-VT as such and do a default extraction on it, which will also do the content creation in the case of the PDF-VT. So let's go back to normal data mapping. So because these are optional, if I select, for example, the source as metadata, it means I'm expecting an existing record set or multiple records or one record. That can come from the execute data mapping. That can also come from retrieve items. So I can retrieve items from the Connect database and pass them through the all-in-one. I'll still get the benefit of the content and output creation being multi-threaded, but in this case, the data mapper would not. Same for content creation. If I go back to data mapping, I go into content creation, I can tell it no content creation and do not execute. What would output from here is actually just the data mapping. But each step is optional. If I do content creation, but I do not do output, it means it'll output content items as usual. So I can use this in various number of situations. If I do metadata and no content creation, it's expected that what's coming in here is the actual content items already predefined, which can use an output, etc. So all of these tasks are individual inside of the plugin, kind of, but they are also working together in harmony when they can. Whenever they get the chance, it does that multi-threading and the whole, optimized process thing. And this concludes today's Connect with Evie. I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions, comments, or something you'd want for me to talk about in a next episode, please don't hesitate to comment below. Thumbs up if you like it, subscribe if you want to be advised of new videos coming in, and as always, see you in a few clicks.